sparkless fuck. No new attacks, just a slicing knife, cutting through dreams like a butcher's life. Lines on paper like blades in the dark. Promises whispered a sparkless like in the dark. Promises whispered a sparkless fuck. No new attacks, just a slicing knife, cutting through dreams like a butcher's life.
And good evening, everybody. Tonight, these are the candidates standing for the Rural General Ward for the Manawatu District Council. But with every election, there's one thing stepping in their way, and that's your vote. And good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's It's in the Ballot show, coming here live from the Feilding Civic Centre. How is everyone this evening? Well, that's good. Now, before we get to our candidates, I'd like to introduce ourselves to Bridget, who is another one of these lucky candidates. Oh, joy, the fun parts of camera-free, having the great parts there, of joys of also getting elected unopposed. So thank you for stepping in for the question host role tonight.
My pleasure. Kia ora koutou.
Kia ora. Yeah. So let's kick up. James, you get to kick off first with your 1 minute opening statement on why you should be one of the next rural ward councillors.
No pressure then. Good evening. My name's James McKelvey. I grew up rurally here in the Manawatū. I was a Helcom school student way back in the day. Spent my 10 years growing up near Rongatia. Moved away, came back about 3 years ago and have completely fallen in love with rural Manawatū all over again. I'm a local. I like to think I'm quite approachable. I will listen to you. I will care for you and do everything I can to represent you. I like to think I can help rural Manawatū have a voice at the council, and I want to ensure that our rates are all well spent. I'm all about responsible spending, and I want our people to feel safe. I want us to be connected. I want us to be able to have access to the services we provide. And yeah, I'm here for you.
Okay, next up, Kirk.
Hello, my name's Kirk Trounson. I was born in Feilding and raised in Kimbolton, a rather rural environment here in the Manawatū. I went to Feilding Ag, Feilding High School as it's known now. I'm married and have 2 kids. We reside in the coastal seaside village of Tangamoana. Why I feel I'd make a good councillor. As I've aged, I've kind of become quite stoic in thought and think quite seriously about all the choices that I make, both in the small business and in our family, management. And I think I'd make a good councillor because I like to think. I like to think very seriously about every choice that's made. I like listening to people. I don't have an agenda. I think people are paramount. and listening to them really delivers the value that I gain out of this opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that. Next up, Rob. Wrong candidate, Nick. One more to the left.
Here I am.
It's all right. It's what happens when you've got one person doing two jobs and the stream deck for some reason is not playing around. Yep.
Kia ora koutou, my name's Rob Jundam. My background in operational policing and working with communities and agencies and managing complex programs of work for government has provided me with skills, knowledge and experience to work with other elected councillors to best manage ratepayer investment and get the best bang for buck possible. I've lived in rural Manawatu for 20 years. I'm on a 15-acre block close to Feilding. I've also lived and worked in other rural communities throughout my lifetime. I understand the importance of being resilient and practical, working together to achieve goals. I recognise the need for rural and urban to work together towards a common good in this area. I'm concerned that rates affordability is becoming a big issue and that increased borrowing and deferment of work on infrastructure will leave an unfair legacy for future generations. I'm keen to promote a common sense approach to governance and decision making with the community and ratepayer at its centre, not on a whim or politically driven. Thank you.
Okay, next up, Colin.
Good evening. My name's Colin McFadden. I live in Stanway with my wife, Virginia. I was married when I left home tonight, so that's always positive. I'm an experienced businessman with a governance and entrepreneurial background seeking re-election. Having downsized from a sheep and beef farm, I live on a 20-hectare farm in Halcombe with Virginia. As chairman, I've had an involvement for 10 years with the Stanway Halcombe Water Scheme, which has given me the understanding on how to get things done. Regardless of my personal views, have voted for what the community has wanted and have always supported core infrastructure investment, balancing the need to keep rates as low as possible. I'm a strong believer that we should all have equal opportunity, and it is our role to provide leadership and direction for all young people. I am proud of the council's achievement in having some of the best infrastructure of all councils, whilst delivering the 5th lowest average rate increase for the last 3 years, compared against the 78 councils. I thank you and hope that you will vote for me.
Okay, next up, Andrew.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Andrew Quarry, and along with my wife Marilyn, we farm just out of Rongatia on a sheep and cattle farm. I've lived there all my life and believe I have a good understanding as to the requirements and the services that are required for rural Manawatu. I'm a member of the Rongatia Lions Club and I'm also a member of the Rongatia RSA. I'm very proud to stand by the record that I have as a current councillor. I believe Manawatu is moving in the right direction. Our level of rate increase is one of the lowest, as has already been mentioned, in New Zealand. And the quality of our services that have been provided are second to none. So yes, I've been on council for 4 terms rather, and I'd ask for your vote to continue the good work that we've been doing. Thank you.
Okay, and we've got Alison.
Kia ora koutou. Hello everyone. My name is Alison Short. I am a sitting councillor and am seeking re-election. Born and bred in the Manawatū, I am married to Wayne. We own a small sheep and beef farm at Stanway, and we also own a busy trade business in Feilding. We have 3 adult children who all live in the Manawatū. In my late 50s, I have served the community as a councillor for nearly 18 years. I'm currently the longest serving councillor. My youngest daughter was 5 when I started, and this year she is 23. Outside of council, I give much of my time to the health and wellbeing sector in a governance capacity. I like gardening and campervanning, and I have been involved with the Heritage Park Rhododendron Trust at Kimbolton for many years. I hope you have the confidence to vote for me. Thank you.
Okay, and thank you for that there. Now we get to the fun part. It is the questions. So how things work here is each candidate has been given the questions, telling them what questions are in the boxes, but they don't know what questions are in each boxes. Neither do I. So, I can't sit there and say, I think you should pick 22 because I think that's a curveball question, because I don't even know that, and I try and make sure I keep out of that sort of thing. Bridget here will be the one who will pick out the questions from the boxes and read them out there. Now, all candidates get 1 minute to sit there and do it. Now, just to add a bit more fun there, each candidate has 2 button cards. If a candidate's question has a question they want to answer that another candidate picks up, they pull up their button card, wait patiently for them to finish, and then we can get their answer in and find out what question it is. And also, if the question's a bit too much of a curveball, this is one we hope candidates do not use. They do have a defer card that they can give it to someone else. But fingers crossed. Fingers crossed they all walk out of here keeping their defer cards and have made good and well use of their button cards. So let's get to our random, list order generator, because we do things here differently at Hits in the Ballot, and we make sure we keep our candidates on our toes. Thank you, Greg O'Connor, for recommending this one, as he was the one who wanted this sort of system. Rob, you get to go up first. What box number?
Rua. So we've got number 2. Okay, Rob. L.
So,
Rob, this is a stunning question. And right, it should be first. Do you think that Māori wards, such as our own Ngā Tapuai o Mātangi Māori ward, strengthen democracy? Why or why not, Rob?
I think it does strengthen democracy. I'm in favour of having Māori wards. I think it's very good for Māori to have participation and access to council, the top table at council, to have a view. Council should be inclusive, and they should be working very closely with Māori on a whole lot of issues, particularly local government. So, please vote Māori ward.
okay, next up, Kirk. What box number?
Is that box 18, please, Bridget?
Box 18. Okay, so we've got Tacoma Waru. It's feeling lucky. V. If you are elected as a councillor, will you decelerate council spending on unwanted grand projects and concentrate on vital necessary infrastructure needs such as roading?
Okay, that's a really good question. Economics, it's a pattern-based system. There's no such thing as stasis. There's only growth or decline. The idea of what is an unwanted grand project, it's subjective and a matter for community consultation. Roading is absolutely necessary regardless of the current economic climate. Solid roading can help to balance out the ebb and flow of the economy. Roads need to be maintained. Not maintaining roads, it's a choice to defer spending and incur an even greater cost in the future. Thank you.
Okay, next up, Alison. What box number?
Bridget, may I please have box 25?
You can. So number Rua Tako Marima, number 25. And we have for you Alison G. The government and taxpayers union have been accusing councils of being irresponsible with large percentage rate increases. Alison, what is your view?
I certainly agree that rates across the country have gone up significantly over the past 10 years. Most councils have been faced with increased costs and regulation which has to be passed on to their ratepayers. But I believe it's largely due to the local government funding model, not irresponsible decision making. Overseas models of local government see more favourable funding by central government. For example, here in New Zealand, we have GST on rates. This is effectively a tax upon a tax.
You are certainly right there. Okay, we've got James. What box number?
Box number 8, please.
Box number 8, Watu. And we have the letter P. Should some streets in Newtown, okay, I'm going to change this.
I'd like to know why that one's in there.
Do we,
Papa.
can we go to another question, or?
I'm about to check that question list because that's doing my head in because that happened last night as well. I may have put the wrong graphic in there.
Good news for you, you don't have to worry about Newtown streets when you're elected.
Yeah, exactly. No,
I've recently
Just worry about
stopped playing
my
Carlton.
friend,
Wellington, so.
was it Claire Nolan, who lives in Green Street in Newtown. As the joys of here, you have the treasurer of the Newtown Residents Association, or the NRA, that has nothing to do with guns. What would a P meant to have been? It does make
Solar panel one.
Is it solar panels by chance?
yes, it is. That's correct.
So do you support the fitting of solar panels to council buildings to offset daytime electricity use?
Here's the camera. I do. I actually have solar panels on the roof of my house. Yeah, I think it's a good way to get things done. Keeps costs low, and we've actually got some really good businesses in the Manawatu who could fit them for us if we wanted to. I think they're outstanding. They're green. They seem to work pretty well for me.
And I believe we have a button from Colin. I love the way you're doing it.
Thank you. I'd just like to raise a couple of points. For example, in this building here, it's not structurally sound enough to carry the weight. Also, council has a loan cap, and I also have a business that's involved with lithium batteries, and I'm yet to see the economic return when you're taxing the ratepayers to A, borrow the money, and B, depreciate the asset. And conception in the future on new builds, yes. On the current council structure, no.
Okay, Andrew, what box number?
Box number 13.
Number 13, so that'll be Tacoma Turu. We're back here. Oh, we're right here. Andrew, I was just about to miss you, but I've got you. So Andrew has selected Q for quarry. Issues around climate change are becoming more important. What? Q?
No, have the wrong questions ended up in the boxes?
Question is,
Bree,
what
what's on the
budget line
screen?
would you remove?
Okay.
Yep. Maybe the question piles got mixed up.
So what budget line, Andrew, item would you remove to help bring rates down in the Manawatu without disrupting basic services?
The first thing I'd look at would be the 4 wellbeings. Now, we're waiting for government to come out and clearly define what those wellbeings are. And once we have a firm indication as to what's involved, then we'd look at cutting those either fully or partially from our baseline.
Okay, Colin.
I'll take question number 24, if I may, please, Bridget. This is a really good question. Our biggest challenge for our district is actually the makeup and direction that horizons drive and impact our community. We see massive disruption to our communities with flooding by their failure to adequately remove the excess stones and allow the rivers to actually lift up and cause flooding. They're very unresponsive. They're not open for business. And the community and the council spends a lot of wasteful money trying to get them to do their job.
Excellent. For the viewers online, the question was, what's one big opportunity or challenge you see for the district?
And we got a button from Alison.
Thank you. A big opportunity I see for this district is that when the economy bounces back to times of prosperity, that we are ready and waiting to roll out the red carpet. We have the land availability, we have the infrastructure services, and we will benefit greatly when Tanganui Freight and Distribution Hub is up and running. We can offer residents choosing to move here great community facilities like the Makino Pool, the Community Hub Library, and very good schools, especially Feilding High School, who leads the country with its agricultural curriculum. Our future is looking positive.
Okay, so we've got 6 questions out of the councillors, and let's go for round 2. James, you get to go up first. What box number?
Let's go number 7.
Number 7. Whetū. This question is M. Concerning the central government's messaging about councils being a core reason for the cost of living crisis due to wasteful spending, do you think this is the case? Why or why not?
I think in some cases around the country it might be true. I don't think that's true in the Manawatū. For example, we don't see huge rate increases here. We do see rate increases, but nowhere near, for example, what we see in Wellington, where I lived there for a while. I've seen a lot of wasteful spending happen there. Manawatū, on the other hand, it seems that we've had a stable council that's made good decisions, and I don't think it's true in this case.
Okay, Colin, what box number?
15.
15. Te Komarima for Colin. And his letter is X.
Just a moment, get the right one on there.
Yes. Would you consider advocating for more safe pedestrian crossings on our main arterial routes such as Kimbolton Road?
Wrong person.
Okay, conceptually, yes, it's sound. It has a cost. What happens with Kimbolton Road and also the road coming to Feilding past the golf courses is actually a state highway. The council has been advocating for a series of enhancements and improvements up that road. I would advocate for it, but everything comes at a cost. It's not just painting some lines on the road, but you have to put the infrastructure in to create the curbs. And if that's what the community wants to do, I would support it, but then they should submit that through the annual plan process because that's how you get things done.
Okay, and a button from Rob.
Yes, thanks. Yeah, there's quite a bit going on with Kimbolton Road. As we all know, with the new subdivision at the end of North Street, Kimbolton Road, it's projected that traffic will increase remarkably in that area, and there's very few ways out of the area apart from through there. There's a lot of stalling between working with NZTA and the council to try and get infrastructure changed there. My biggest concern is that the longer we wait, the more congestion and the worse the safety issues will get, but also the cost to the ratepayer is going to climb considerably.
Okay, Alison, what box number?
Bridget, may I please have box 20?
You may. Manawatū, number 20. And Alison's letter is the letter H. Do you support the central government introducing rate caps onto local authorities, and why?
Largely no, because rates capping in New Zealand would not address the actual issue, which is the local government funding model set out in legislation. Overseas, where rates capping has been trialled, it has been found that over time, it simply defers capital investment in infrastructure to the next generation of ratepayers. Building infrastructure costs what it costs, but it will always be cheaper to build it today than tomorrow.
And I'm certain we probably don't want, was it Feilding to become the Birmingham of New Zealand? Button from Colin.
Thank you. I support everything that Councillor Short says. The other thing that the rates are made up is we have a lot of fantastic services, and we have, for example, that we have a very good recovery centre. Now, that recovery centre does not cover the costs of the rubbish bags. Now, all will happen is that part of that cost of the rubbish collection is actually met by the ratepayer. So all of those services would mean that instead of having those subsidies, such things as the rubbish bags would lift significantly, and we end up fly tipping all over the district. Just one example.
Rob, what box number?
3, please.
Number 3, Toru. And his is I. Letter I. Do you support implementing safer speed limits around our schools within the Manawatu district territorial limits?
Yes, I do. And hopefully that will stop injury and death, vulnerable areas for kids. So yes.
Nice short. Oh, and we've got a button from Alison. You're only allowed 2, and you're at number 2 along with Colin. Sorry, I've got a tally chart here.
Regarding the implementation of safer speed limits, we already have. Our council was lucky to be accepted to the NZTA Safer Journeys for School program about 5 years ago. This meant we assessed all the 25 plus schools in our district for accessibility, walking and bus routes and active signage. We prioritised school and busy 100k zones first, then looked at schools in 70k and 50k zones. You will have noticed a lot more turn bays, active signage and pedestrian crossings across our district since that program was implemented.
I think we passed Karanga Bunny, was it Karanga School this morning that we saw that in place actually, as I know that was the little sneaky back way that Google told us to go. Okay, Kirk, what box number?
Is 3 available, please, Bridget?
No, 3 was just the last one. Unlucky. Kirk, you have to pick another lucky number.
Why don't we try 4 then, please?
We're going to
Bridget?
try 4 right next door. Far.
Fantastic.
Okay. And for Kirk, it's letter E. Do you think council is doing enough to maintain Manawatu district's rural roads?
Okay, thanks, Bridget. I'd really consult and rely on feedback from residents to answer that best. I am aware that significant investment is being made in road maintenance and new roads to encourage and enable commercial growth. I'm a firm believer in the value gained from a culture of continual improvement. I'm aware of specific instances where we could do better, and I understand that sustainable managed growth requires continued investment. Thank you.
Okay, Andrew, what box number?
Box number 1.
Box number 1. The tahi of all tahis, Andrew.
I was going to say, if you're where I live, that's the first thing you want on the ballot paper.
It is.
But here it's ticks.
Letter R for Mr. Quarry. Manawatu District Council doesn't have many places where tactical tiles are in use on footpaths to assist users who are vision impaired to know where it's safe to cross the road and what type of crossing they are using. Is this a core function that the Manawatu District Council should provide, or a nice to have, Andrew?
First of all, we need to work out how many people would require the service. Now, I can't remember for the last term where anyone has come to council submitting a request for these additional items. When we have a reasonable number of people in our community who request certain items, they normally submit and bring their proposal to council. Now, I'm going back 4 or 5 years, and I can't remember of any group who have come forward looking for that proposal to be enacted. So that would suggest to me that there is not a major demand for that service within our community.
Okay, and we had an was it one round of another round of 6 questions, and Alison, you get to start this first round of 6 questions.
Ooh, I might go down the other end. Could I have box number 5, please,
You
Bridget?
can have Rima, Alison. And Rima gives you the letter N.
So that's N for November.
N for November. What will you do to stop poor council expenditure, allocate resources to critical infrastructure, and rein in huge increases?
I've always taken the view of wise and prudent investment in capital infrastructure. I always consider what impact our decisions have on rates affordability. Do we rate now for something, or do we spread it out over the life of the asset and spread the financial load across generations? I'd also like to point out that while capital expenditure and levels of service can be decided by council, basic day-to-day operational expenditure sits with the Chief Executive and his management team, and that the council regularly directs them to be as efficient as possible, explore different delivery options, and adapt to better technology when it comes along.
Okay, Kirk, what box number?
Is box 5 available, Bridget?
Sadly, Kirk, again, you have got a box that is not here.
Box taker. Box 6, please, Bridget.
Box 6 I can give you.
Thank you.
So, Nama Ono, and his letter is D. What is your view on residential, commercial, and industrial growth in the district?
Okay, what's my view? Well, it's hopefully inevitable that it's going to happen. It's crucial for a well-managed district. It needs to be balanced to offer a range of choices to suit everybody and everything as their needs want and change. You know, for people, those needs and those wants, they change as you journey through life. So you know, I'd hate to see an environment where you know, it was all 250 square meter sections, or all huge lifestyle blocks. I think we want to retain the ability for people to choose the lifestyle they want. Thank you.
Okay, next up, Rob, what box number?
9.
Number 9, Iwa. And for you, Rob, you have the letter J. Spending needs to happen within budget without increasing rates. Rob, what services or luxuries will you stop?
I think generally I would
Bit closer.
Generally, I would look at reviewing costs and benefits of services that are actually being offered now to see if there's any savings there. I think nice to haves should be deferred for a while. I'm more into consolidating the gains the council's made to date and getting on with probably back capturing some of the infrastructure issues.
Okay, Colin, what box number?
Oh, is 10 available, Bridget?
Yes, it is. Right next to me. Tako is
Just
available.
like you, Bridget, at 10.
It's feeling lucky, Colin. And Colin's lucky letter is C. Should rural communities have a say in the operation of council-owned rural water schemes? I told you it was lucky.
It certainly was. Many of our rural water schemes were put in 40 years ago, and they were put in on a basis where the community put up half the money, and the government put half the money and became a council asset. the community has, most community water schemes has a structure of a committee, and that committee is with a constitution, then is a representative and speaks on behalf of the community. In many cases in our schemes around the community, those committees with the backing of the community have actually agreed to take rate increases to further create the opportunity for growth and to actually for the better and well-being of the whole community.
Brilliant answer. Next up, Andrew.
I'll leave it with you, Bridget. Grab a number.
Oh, I'm feeling 19 for you. Not that long ago, Andrew. My most favourite letter, letter B, please, sir. Do you support political party endorsement of local government candidates, Andrew?
Hey, what a great question. Yes and no. First of all, I'd like to declare that I'm an ACT supporter, a very strong ACT supporter. The second point is yes and no. By declaring your support for a party, you give the voters an opportunity to assess your thought pattern and how you're going to address issues that arise, whether you're going to be very loose with spending or you're going to be very conservative with ratepayer spending. The no part of that answer is that I do not accept the main party dictating the terms and conditions to the candidate. So the candidate should still be free to vote in the best interests of the ratepayers. And when we are enlisted or sign on to council, each of us sign the fact that we will do the best, the utmost we can for our ratepayers. We will not listen to the party hierarchy from Wellington dictating terms and conditions to those candidates. So the answer is yes and no. Thank you.
Gee, that does feel a bit awkward coming from Wellington, not being dictated to, but hey, I assume we enjoy it. It's the Ballot in Feilding, though, from Wellington. James, what box number?
Number 11, please.
Number 11, Tacoma Tahi for James. Letter Y. Auckland Council has recently shifted to taking away recycling bins of people who mix in general waste with their recycling. Should Manawatu District Council consider removing cycling bins for doing the same thing?
In short, I would consult with the people who work in our recycling centres and see what they think and what sort of issues they're facing. I think everyone needs an opportunity to learn how to use such bins, and if you take away their bins, how are they going to learn about it? And yeah, there's no opportunity to improve if you don't have the ability to recycle. Yeah, I'd want to know how things work in our environment. I'm not following Auckland.
Okay, so we've got another 6 questions. Now, I do have a request. Andrew, James, and Kirk, you have not used any buttons yet, so please get up there and start butting in with your answers as well, because, you know, we don't want those cards being kept after the first half of the show. So, Rob.
Can I buy some off Andrew?
I've got some for sale.
You discussed that in the mid-time break. Rob, what box number?
17.
Number 17, Tacoma Whetū for Rob. And he has the letter W. Why do you think you're right for the role as councillor?
I've got quite a lot of experience in leading and managing. I've got a passion for the rural community. I've lived in it for a number of years and other rural communities. I'm keen to see council focus on the must-haves, not nice-to-haves. I'd like to see more support for the support services in the community and building resilience. People are doing it hard in a lot of ways, and I think the council could play a really positive role in getting people over that hump. So, yeah, I bring honesty and integrity and a willingness to work hard. So it's me.
Okay, Alison.
Bridget, could I please have 26, the number of my birth date?
Oh, you can. Number 26, Roa Takoma Ono. Oh, and the letter A for Alison.
Oh, that's a
What
good
political party are you linked to?
None. I'm not a member of any political party.
Okay, Andrew, what box number?
Oh, once again, Bridget, it's all in your hands.
Oh,
You did well
okay.
last time.
Okay, right. I'm going to go to a number you'll remember, your 21st, so 21. Oh, Andrew, this is for you and I. Letters A, B. What's your biggest priority for the next term, and how do you intend on delivering on that, Andrew?
I think one of the biggest challenges and concerns we have is the issue of Manfield Park. Now, Manfield Park is a sinkhole for money, and council have invested a great deal of finances into that over the many years I've been on council. So the issue of a loss-making organisation needs to be addressed. The other is that it involves a number of possibilities, and Manfield Park could be a great asset to the district if there is more opportunity for different groups to come and use the facilities. So on one side, it is a money sinkhole. On the other, it has a lot of possibilities for being a major revenue and interest asset for the rest of the Manawatū. So Manfield Park is certainly an area that needs addressing. Thank you.
Okay, Colin, what box number?
In your hands, Bridget.
I'm going to go for Tacoma Wha, number 14. And the letter is U. With a largely rural area covered by the council, but some local success stories in terms of industrial growth in areas like Feilding, how can the council best support economic growth across industries and sectors?
Good question. Whilst we've got a large rural zone, we also need to reflect the fact that farming is a very difficult way to make money. So challenges to keep young people in our communities who don't wish to farm, we need to have vibrant businesses and opportunities in our region that actually creates an employment and opportunity for them, but also to support the services to actually provide to what is in effect how we generate our wealth in the region, which is agriculture. We also are well positioned to service regions like Hawke's Bay, Taranaki, Wellington, and the South Island that many regions would really wish they had.
Now, I want to ask, are these buttons going to come in at some point? Or have no need to button yet? Okay. James.
Is it 27?
It is 27. Roa Takoma Whetū for James. And he has the letter F for fish. There has been much media coverage about candidates' behaviour towards their fellow candidates. What are your personal values that make you a suitable candidate to be a councillor?
Personal values, honesty, integrity, for sure. I like to think I'm approachable, and I personally think I can work with anyone. I think if we as councillors can't find a way to work together, then we're probably looking for the wrong jobs. It's important that we can be cordial, collegial, and yeah, we've got to come together to make decisions together, and that's what I'd like to do.
Okay, Kirk, what box number?
Bridget, may I please have box 12?
You can have box 12,
Thank
Takoma
you.
Roa. You have AA. Do you support household food waste collection to stop organic waste from going to the landfill?
It could be trickier than it that it seems at first reading. Look, I support any strategy or any process that reduces financial and environmental costs. We've got to make sure that any spending is fair and equitable for all community. And what I'm touching on there is if that's rolled out in the Civic district and Feilding itself, we've got to make sure that somehow, essentially, rural aren't funding that that process, that asset. Thank you.
Now, it looks like we've got a bit of a dilemma there. We've only got 4 boxes left, but we've got 14 minutes. So,
Got an extra question here that doesn't have a box.
oh, how
Ooh.
did that happen? Or did someone leave the card there?
Is it about
Oh,
Newtown?
okay. I wonder, is it O?
It's Q.
Oh, is it, oh, Q. Ah, okay. That starts making a bit more sense. So, I think, can we get a box number and get 2 people to answer the questions? Does that sound like a plan? Okay, Colin, you will be collaborating with Rob. What box number?
Like I know the answer. It's up to you, Bridget.
I think I'll go with Q.
Yeah, but what does the Q card say?
So the Q card says issues around climate change are becoming more important. What are your thoughts on supporting anaerobic digestion of food waste to produce biogas, similar to the plant in Reporoa? Please note, this is not incineration of general waste.
I support it. What most people don't realise is that with Gabrielle 19, the district had 3 options for taking their waste. Like Bonnie Glen, there was 2 over on the east coast that were taken out of action. Subsequently, the cost of dumping or removing that waste from the region rise significantly. I support it. I support the fact that we should do that. We should actually turn it into electricity. I think the council, especially led by Hamish Waugh, is doing an excellent job around doing that particular process. For those that may criticise the fact that taking, at the moment we're trialling taking it to Reporoa, it is cheaper to truck it to Reporoa than it is to dump it in Bonnie Glen, just outside of Martin. That is our future. Our future is to recycle, but we need to understand that it's never commercially viable unless it's gold.
Now, Rob, would you like to add to that answer?
Yeah, I personally support it. Probably if we had it here, it certainly would have to have a good cost-benefit analysis. You wouldn't be going into it to pour money into it if you're not able to get something out of it. So that would be the caveat that I have. But in principle, yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Okay, now the next team answers got to work together as Alison and Andrew.
What a team. Alison, ladies first, which number would you like?
Ooh,
For
why
you
don't
and
we go
Corey?
for Sweet 16.
Sweet 16. Tacoma Ono. Letter T. Alison and Andrew, what do you see as the main difference between Māori landowners and hapu in terms of their relationship with Manawatu District Council?
You're doing okay.
Okay, thank you. Multiply owned Māori whenua is different to privately owned land and comes with different rules and permissions. Most of the Māori whenua left in our district is in Te Ruru Valley. Our staff, particularly our planning team, have built a very good relationship with the hapu of this whenua, working through chapters of the district plan review with a strong focus on papakaianga housing in rural areas and the potential of a future potable water supply.
And Andrew, you'd like to continue on with an answer?
No, I struggle with an answer for this. I think the introduction of a water scheme in the valley is flawed. Sadly, the economics for it don't stack up. And it's all very well trying to encourage a water scheme to go in, a pipe water scheme. But the number of people that would take it up, the cost of taking it up is just out of the question, and therefore the issue of water for the valley should come back to individual tanks or something along those lines, rather than a council water scheme, which is going to doomed to fail because of the economic liability it would create.
Okay, and our last team to work together is James and Kirk. What box number?
23.
Number 23. Rua Takoma Toru. And the letter is O.
Oh, and we kind of already had that
We
question.
did already have
from
that.
on that rogue card.
It did. So sadly, you're going to have to either pick between 22 or 28.
Let's go 22.
Let's go 22.
Oh, that's a great day to my books.
Letter S.
Oh, that works even great for my name.
So Korua, Manawatu District Council has some cycleways along its arterial routes throughout the district. Is this a core function that Manawatu District Council should provide, or a nice to have?
I think it's a nice to have. Transport's important. Being fit is also important, and cycleways are good, but they tend, I've seen them implemented terribly throughout the country. They often cost a lot of money. They are often underutilized. Very careful thought's always required in this area, but on the whole, Manawatu, people drive. We're quite spread out.
Yeah, I tend to agree with what James has said. It's a nice to have. At a base level, I want everyone to be safe. For me personally, currently, it's not what I would consider a core function, but it's not about what's important to me. It's about seeking feedback from all community about what's important to them. Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to make this last question to act like a hard-hitting question. So we'll get an answer from all the candidates. So what's in the box, Bridget?
Okay, lucky last, number 28, Rua Takoma Waru. Letter number K. The hard-hitting question is, how do you all plan to use deliberative democracy to ensure residents can directly contribute to the challenges our urban and rural communities face?
And the random order sheep has decided James is up first.
Deliberative democracy. I'm not overly familiar with the term, but from what I understand, it's gathering views from the community and deliberating over them and coming up with a carefully put together answer. How would I use it? I would use it. Yeah, it's the way to get the answers for the questions that are faced. We're here to represent people, and we need to hear their views. That's me.
Okay, Andrew.
We in fact are already doing this, and the district has 16 community committees. Most of them meet monthly, some meet every 2 months, and the new proposals that council are putting forward are aired in these committee meetings. So the communities have the opportunity to examine, to question, and to challenge these proposals that are being put forward by council, and also to give feedback to the council in regard to this. So it's a question that is already taking place within our community. Thank you.
Okay, Alison.
Thank you. Adding on to that, as well as the community committees, the 12 marae in Aorahi each have their own liaison councillor. We have business liaison through Feilding and district promotion. We meet quarterly with federated farmers. We have a youth council, and we have an open public forum session twice a month at our council meetings, and people regularly come as individuals or small groups to share their concerns with us. We publicly consult regularly and get good numbers of submissions in return. To be fair, sometimes our community complain they are consulted with too much rather than not enough.
Kirk. And sorry, Nick, you got to make that camera go all the way.
Where are we? Look, I really strongly advocate for all members of community to get up and get involved. First and foremost, get yourself to a community meeting. As someone who's reasonably fresh to this environment, I've seen the value it can offer. I've seen firsthand the change that can be invoked from just turning up to a meeting, having a chin wag, and being involved. That's probably the biggest thing that I'd promote and advocate for anyone that's sitting on the couch or sitting in front of a computer telling people what they think. Go to a meeting, have a chat, just sit there and attend it, get involved. Thank you.
Okay, Rob.
Yes, I think there's room to strengthen the community committees further, as well as provide additional, more detailed information to sectors in the community about all sorts of issues that are confronting us. Sometimes it's a little bit of an afterthought rather than an exploration at the first point. And I think that's why some of the community feel confused at times and probably a little bit sick of trying to think their way through these issues. The other thing I was thinking of was that the theme of strengthening our volunteer and community sector, I think there may be a role for council to play in terms of potentially setting up a board around district safety and resilience. Seems to be a theme that our ratepayers and residents association keep on receiving from people, and I think there's an opportunity there.
Okay, and Colin.
Lucky last. I think this is one of these questions around, like, everybody wants to take their rubbish to the dump, but nobody wants to live next to the dump. Now, we already have a consultation process. It's very well documented. Currently, for every $485,000 worth of money the council spend, adds 1% to everybody's rates. We get told by central government that we need to have referendums on major decisions. The cost of running an independent referendum is in the region of $120,000. So that would put basically 0.25% on everybody's rates for every one of those we do. We have a process. Recently, we did the local orders done well. We had 516 submissions, of which 484 supported the council. It was well rolled out. It was well documented. And by the way, we had 16 of them from outside the district, from Palmerston North, who wanted us to share the load. Thank you.
Thank you for that, for candidates, for answering those questions and exhausting all our boxes. Now, before we sit there and get to our halftime break, just for those who want to sit there and know, we're an independent non-profit organisation that are funded on small dollar donations, mainly from our viewers and from some of our participants. Today's cost for running the venues is the same as yesterday. Thank you to Manawatu District Council for the $845 for the venue hire. We also spend $14 a day on Starlink internet connection to make sure that this internet broadcast does not get played around with everyone on the 4G network. We also pay Restream $31 for the broadcasting privileges that send out to all the different platforms along with ourselves and our broadcasting partners. We also allow for $200 a day for fuel consumption to take 2 cars between base and the broadcasting location. That's a ballpark figure, and we allow for $50 for refreshments. So if you would like to jump in, we can have one of our admins online can sit down there and put the link to either the Give a Little page, or the other one is you can also put into the shows today's ones of the give a koha without admission ticket, and that can go through as a donation that come to us, or you can direct deposit it into our bank account, which would be the quickest way for it to come to us and the least fees associated with it. And if you're in studio, cash is welcome, or I think I might have an EFTPOS machine hiding somewhere. The one seat next to me is a bit flat, but one car probably has got a bit more charge in it. So we will take a break, and I'd like to thank Paul for making our intermission video so that our candidates here can stretch, have a bit of a break, because an hour is a bit of a fun time to be doing It's in the Ballot.
We're taking a pause, just a short little breather to stretch out your legs. You don't need a leader. The live stream will be back, so don't go too far. But for now, you can wander wherever you are. Intermissions aren't really a thing anymore, but we think they're cool, a tradition to adore. A moment to breathe, have a laugh, maybe chat. There's magic in breaks, and we're keeping that. Head to the lobby, I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. Head to the lobby, I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Maybe three. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. Head to the lobby, I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Maybe three. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. Head to the lobby, I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Maybe three. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. little breather to stretch out your legs. You don't need a leader. The live stream will be back, so don't go too far. But for now, you can wander wherever you are. Intermissions aren't really a thing anymore, but we think they're cool, a tradition to adore. A moment to breathe, have a laugh, maybe chat. There's magic in breaks, and we're keeping that. Head to the lobby, I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. Your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Maybe 3. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. Into the lobby, I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Maybe 3. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. The lobby, I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Maybe 3. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime.
Oh shit, don't panic, but it's almost time to get back to the show. The candidates have stretched their legs, been partying, taking a break. Cause there's still hard-hitting questions, closing statements and stuff you wanna know. So grab those snacks for their answers and prep for decisions you need to make. Oh, 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 oh. The candidates have stretched their leg. The candidates have stretched their legs, been partying, taking a break. Closing statements and stuff you wanna know. So grab a snack you wanna know. So grab those snacks, hear the answers and prep for decisions you need to make. Oh, 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 oh.
On river like blazing the dawn, promises whispered a sparkless spark. No new attacks, just a slicing knife, cutting through dreams like a butcher's life. Lines on paper like blades in the dark, promises whispered a sparkless spark. No new attacks, just a slicing knife, cutting through dreams like a butcher's life. Stands with her budget tight, words like daggers in the dead of night. No bullshit claims, no candy to toss, balance sheets drawn in the land of loss. Remember your enemies flash and burn, promises to ashes, bridges won't return. State of the union all hollow and bare, constant silence laying heavy in the air. Clap in the room like puppets on strings, empty cheers for the pain she brings. No mommy scramble, no sweet reprieve, just bitter truths hard to believe. Echoes of cuts through the hollow halls, shadows of...
Okay, everybody, and welcome back to our second half of the show. And this is when we're getting ready for hard-hitting questions.
Hard-hitting questions, we're not getting the money. I dodge a question, because every candidate has to answer the hard-hitting questions.
And with just a moment while I get the camera back onto me. Yep, that works pretty good, pretty well. So with hard-hitting questions here, these are the questions that we give to every candidate. You can't use your button cards, you can't use your defer cards, because you're going to be answering the question anyway. So let's kick off with hard-hitting question number one. And I'll actually just get my randomness order up while we do it. Do you think the council was doing enough in the terms of wastewater treatment and disposal? And let's kick off with Andrew.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I do. We're currently waiting for the government to come out with the standards, the wastewater regulation standards. And when they are published, hopefully in the next few months, we'll have a better idea as to how our wastewater plant is operating on a national scale. I believe currently it is doing very well. And the amount of money and so forth that's been put in, time and energy that's been put into the wastewater plant is serving our district well. We do have a couple of chemicals which are over the current regulated level for disposal. And they are as a result of the animal byproducts that come into our wastewater stream. The freezing works, the sale yards and truck washers. They produce a higher nitrogen level, which our plant struggles at times to properly neutralise. Our land disposal is currently up and running. It has been running for a number of years, and that is used for the disposal of land for 5 to 6 months of the year. Thank you.
Okay, next up, James.
Yes. That wasn't very hard hitting, was it? Our wastewater plan is a major feature in the district's long-term plan. If you ever read, you'll see it mentioned all over the place. I think we're doing all we can. I would have thought that we've thought about keeping the river clean. We irrigate paddocks, we create wetlands. I think it's pretty well in hand, and we've just heard from a sitting councillor who seems to know quite a lot about it. So I would say yes, it's all in hand.
Okay, next up, Colin.
Thank you. Yes, I agree with what Andrew said. We also, it's not just about our wastewater, it's also the fact that the council recognises it as a resource. And they've also approached it in the sense of saying that it has a cost to set up the infrastructure to be able to, produce biogas and all these other things from our wastewater. And the council is actually positioning itself to become the treatment for a lot of other services and also around things like plastic waste for our whole region. So yes, it's in good hands. We do appreciate the partnership that we have with Maori. We have a lot of conditions. We are looking forward, as Andrew said, to the new standards, because currently we spend an absolute fortune every 10 years to get a resource consent, and the 30-year consent is a lot more attractive. Thank you.
Okay, Kirk.
Thank you. Council is clearly putting effort and investment into wastewater management, but the rollout pace and funding limits mean that in some communities, the improvements will be gradual rather than immediate. Whether it's enough depends on how it's measured and where you are. Really, it's subjective. Thank you.
Okay. Rob.
Yeah, my answer is yes. It's not complete yet, as others have described, and it's going to require some ongoing consultation and monitoring. I wonder, in the rural area, there's some research being done about the amount of septic beds that are not being maintained in rural areas, which can be a problem for waterways and the health of people living rurally. And potentially the council could have some involvement in terms of some education and trying to make that problem slightly less than what it is. Very expensive to go and get your septic tank flushed out though, so that's one of the big issues.
Okay, Alison.
Absolutely. We invested up front for the Feilding wastewater treatment plant about 12 or 15 years ago. We spent $40 million purchasing a lot of land and upgrading a lot of equipment and improving our processes. We recently chose to remain standalone in our 3 waters delivery, as we are well ahead of our regional neighbours in this space. Going through that process confirmed that what we already knew. Some of our immediate neighbours have got some very big upgrades and expenses ahead of them, and we didn't want to be burdened with the additional costs because they've been slower at getting on to things than us. We are well along preparing for our 10-year resource consent for the Feilding plant's discharge to river. We have installed a new environmental wetland, and our village centralisation program is well underway, with Sanson and Ohakea online and Rongatia and Halcombe underway at the moment.
Thank you for that. And now let's get on to hard-hitting question number 2. Are you comfortable with the way the council manages its debt? And Alison, you get to go first.
Thank you. Yes, the council has very strong policies around financial management and treasury functions, risk management, auditing, and 30-year asset management plans. Our council has a self-imposed debt cap of 116 million, and in our last adopted quarterly report, the council debt position was 96 million. On top of that, we include a $5 million buffer in case of extreme weather events. And as again with local water done well, we don't need to borrow extra money, so we did not become a CCO.
Okay, Colin.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. We're also looking at changes. The answer is yes, I am comfortable. We're also seeing that with the DIR and the local water's done well, they're saying now that in effect that when services come up for renewal, such as new water tanks, bores, a whole lot of other things, that the council is expected to actually borrow the money and build it rather than wait for the current users. So that will put pressure on our debt cap, but that's an act of law. There's nothing we can do about that. The council recently decided to spend $57,000 to get a credit rating, which dropped our interest costs. Whilst it does give us some headspace, we do, as Alison said, have a debt cap, but we also need to allow for another Gabrielle 19 because people do expect their services to be re-established.
Next up, Rob.
I'd say no. I'm never comfortable with debt, irrespective of who's got it or where it sits. I think the council's probably doing a good job in trying to manage things as well as possible, but there needs to get to a point where you go, how much more debt can you take on? I think there needs to be a lot of care taken. It's not just about the council, it's about the affordability of rates for people and servicing of debt. I would really like to see debt, if you're going to go into debt, really have it targeted very, very clearly to what it's going to be used for, and make the public really aware of what that debt is actually about. Why are you going into debt? Because a lot of people come back to us and really can't understand what's going on.
Andrew.
Yes, I'm quite happy with the debt level. I agree. Well, no one wants debt, but we have to have debt because otherwise the current ratepayers would pay for services that are going to last for the next 30 years. And debt is a vehicle to allow future generations to pay for the assets that are currently existing. So not to have debt is simply not a solution. And I also stand by the comments that our previous two councillors have made in regard to that debt. Thank you.
Okay, James.
I am happy. You'll see our debt position as a district. It's discussed a lot on the long-term plan. I think it's always on top of mind for the councillors. Responsible management of our money is a huge factor for me. And something I'm always concerned about. I would really like our people to feel good when they pay their rates, knowing that it's all being spent well and on things that matter. I think debt is important for the way the system works. Very few people are ever going to buy a house without borrowing money for it. It's how things will be.
And Kirk.
The question, am I comfortable with the way the council manages its debt position? I don't have currently a deep enough understanding. I don't have an intimate understanding with some of the finer details of the numbers on the pages. I'd refer to existing councillors and seek consultation on that. All I can say is that with absolute accuracy, I think we've got to focus on extracting real value from every single dollar. I'm not going to pretend to understand the complexities of the budget and the maths, but I know we've absolutely got to drill into them and get intimate about the numbers. Thank you.
Okay. Now, we're off to the most important question for the night, as I believe it. Hard-hitting question number 3. What is your position on retaining the Ngā Tapuai o Matangi Māori ward for the Manawatu District Council and the Raki Māori constituency for the Horizon Creek Regional Council? And why do you hold that position? And apologies if I got the Māori ward name wrong. It's a bit of a tongue twister. James, you get to go up first.
I'm good. I think in terms of ways to ensure representation of Māori in our government structures, I think we could do a lot worse than Māori wards. I think it's a good initiative. I think this sort of initiative is important to the way we honour the treaty. We have to be very careful about how we approach it, though, as to not alienate people. I'm never a fan of dividing people into groups, but I think Māori wards are possibly one of the best ways that we do this, and as a country we need to move forward. I've got a cousin. He's he used to be a treaty lawyer. He's now works for the Auckland Council, and he tells me all about the way that we need to honour the treaty, and I agree with him.
Okay, Kirk.
Look, there's a referendum for this. It's certainly a hot topic. I know that when faced with this question, I hadn't really explored it. I hadn't investigated it. I hadn't chewed it over. But as a family, we really put some debate into this, and it's a challenge. It's not my place to comment on the democratic mechanism behind it. My real focus would be putting energies into encouraging and imploring that every single member of our entire community thinks seriously about the implications of the referendum and makes an informed choice. It really is an incredibly complex topic, and I want a New Zealand where all people are informed and all voices are heard. Thank you.
Okay, Andrew.
Thank you. No, I do not support a Maori ward in the Manawatu or on Horowhenua. I've got no problems with the Waitangi Tribunal clearing up and clarifying existing treaty claims, land-based historical claims. I have no problems with that whatsoever. I am dead against race in an electoral system. That is not the way for a modern society to work. It simply doesn't work that way. You end up with ongoing trouble. I don't believe in the treaty was a treaty partnership. There is no mention of the word partnership in the treaty, in whatever version. I don't believe in any principles. There are no treaty principles that are enacted in law, not those that are just made up by the whim of a judge, a judge that decides to race off on a separatist course. If we look at what's happened in Fiji, they have recently introduced a new constitution where there is no Indians, no Fijians, they are all Fijians. They have been through the separatist path. It doesn't work, so I'm dead against it.
Alison.
Okay. I absolutely support Maori wards and constituencies, as the majority of councils with them do. Our council voted against disestablishing ours, with the exception of Councillor Quarry, and are now faced with a government-initiated referendum for this election, which in my opinion is a complete overreach. We're not asked to have referendums on other types of wards. Māori are not a minority. They are a treaty partner and by right should have a seat at the decision-making table. Māori deserve representation that brings a te ao Māori view to decision-making, and this gains better outcomes for everybody. We are all stronger for having Māori representation sitting around the council table, and that has been clearly demonstrated this term. Our Māori ward councillor Bridget is one of our hardest working councillors and represents the Manawatu at a regional and national level frequently.
Rob. Other way around.
Family. Yeah, I believe it's a treaty obligation. It's a no-brainer. Māori need to be represented around the table. I think it enriches council decision-making. It's an inclusive thing, not divisive, and it has to be good for the district. So, yeah, that's my view.
Okay, Colin.
Yeah, hi. I believe that Maori should be represented around the table for sure. I also look at Parliament and see that there's taking out the Maori seats, there's 27 Maori MPs out of, I think, 116. So the question is, do we need a separate system to have representation? For me, I believe that this is a democracy decision. This is up to the ratepayers to decide. And personally, my view is my view, and I do not want to influence those ratepayers that I like to think might have a couple following me for them to be influenced by my views. So I will abstain from answering that question.
Thank you for that, candidates. Okay, it's now for that fun time at the end of the show for closing statements. Each candidate gets 1 minute on why they should receive one of the 5 Rural Ward voters' ticks to be around the council table. And we'll kick off with Andrew.
Thank you. Yes, I'm a 4th term councillor. I believe I've represented the Manawatu district, the Rongatia area, to the best of my ability. I bring a strong, passionate voice, a strong, passionate rural voice to the council table. And there are a number of items that I can point to that I believe I have made a significant contribution to the discussions around the council table. I have a great deal of experience, and the thing that heartens me the most to stand is the number of people that have offered their congratulations and their best wishes for me to stand again this term. So I would like your vote, but I guarantee that I'll do my best to serve the people of the Manawatu in the capacity that I have in the past. So thank you for your support.
Okay, next up, Colin.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a first-time councillor seeking re-election. I do have a strong business background. I have a strong financial acumen. I do understand how the accounts work. I have a strong entrepreneurial flair. I have an agricultural export business that export to 39 countries around the world from here in Feilding. I do understand how business works. I am an ex-sheep and beef farmer. I believe that I do contribute to the table with council. It isn't always smooth, but along, and I'd also like to mention my fellow councillors tonight, what I believe that we have done very well at holding our unity together whilst having different views with respect. We are looking at a big change here for our council, for our region, where you're going to have at least 6 new councillors out of 11. And I would suggest that it may be prudent to consider at least re-electing me at least, and my other colleagues. Thank you.
Rob.
Yes, I bring honesty and a high level of integrity to this job, and I work hard, and I'm definitely independent. I've got a proven record of working with organisations and agencies to improve the lives of people in the community for over 40 years. I've got experience with managing complex programs of work for the government, bringing in new legislation, policy changes, and high-level reviews. I've got strong background in applying business excellence to organisations, including performance reporting, using balanced scorecards and benchmarking. I would promote the use of these tools with report backs to residents and ratepayers so they get a more comprehensive view of what the council is actually undertaking. I have a good understanding of the frustrations that are being experienced by a community with current council processes and setting of rates through my work with the Residents and Ratepayers Association. I want to see the council consolidate gains by tempering new development for a little while and prioritising existing infrastructure maintenance in both town and rural areas. The council says it brought the community back into council. I intend for the council to do some listening and strengthen its response.
Alison.
Thank you for your time today. I hope that I have demonstrated that I am passionate about serving my community and am knowledgeable about all that the Manawatu district does. I have the time, the commitment and the energy to give to the role of councillor. I also hold a number of positions which have taken extra training, like I am an RMA certified commissioner and chair of the hearings committee, and do the district licensing as well. Of the 5 votes that you will get for the Manawatu Rural Ward, I ask that you give 1 tick to experience and capability and re-elect me, Alison Short. I would also like to thank for tonight my fellow candidates, Sam and the team for It's in the Ballot, and a special thank you to our question hostess, Bridget. It's been lots of fun, nice and relaxed.
And James.
Yes, thank you for tonight. I'm a 5th generation McKelvey living on rural land in Manawatū. I run a little 30-acre beef farm, and I'm involved in community projects around the Manawatū. I'm passionate about it. I like to think I'm approachable. I bring a level head. I bring a bit of youth, and I will work with council on behalf of everyone in the Manawatu. Please vote for me.
And Kirk.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to try and bring to the table a plethora of assets that I could conjure up in the hope that you'd vote for me. I think what I'd really like to sum up with is the fact that I care about people. I have an inherent, it's an ability maybe, or a knack. I connect with people. I like finding unity with people. And that's probably, I think, the biggest strength that I hold and the biggest hope for what I'd like to deliver with an opportunity to serve on council. I don't have an agenda. I'm from a humble background, a very humble background. I don't have a large farm. I was raised between farm with community. And that's it. What you see is what you get. Thanks for the opportunity. Cheers.
And thank you to our candidates there. Now, before we go, I want to ask a little bit of a fluff question. So, let's say you have to go to Wellington, you end up at the Newtown Market and you stumble across a business called Bean here and you have me as your barista. If you were going to order a coffee, what will it be? Let's kick off from Allison's end.
Sam, can I please have a large flat white? And could I have a couple of marshmallows just sitting on the top of the cup? Thank you.
Rob?
Large latte, please.
Colin?
Yeah, large latte, no sugar. Earl Grey tea.
Short black, please.
Ooh, very Wellingtonian.
Greg's Instant and a slice of buttered bread. Thanks.
You know where the door is. Anyone knows me, I'm not the biggest fan of instant coffee, especially with the high levels of sodium that's in it. Yeah, that's just one of those things. Okay, so thank you for joining us, candidates, today. So for those voters at home, remember you have 5 ticks on the ballot paper for which 5 candidates you would like to have around the council table, and the 5 candidates with the highest number of votes win with the glorious system of first past the post. God, that is so simple to understand. It's a lot better than trying to explain STV, which is something that I'm used to sitting there doing. We will be off tomorrow. We'll be kicking off at 1:30 p.m. with the Upper Hutt councillors at large. At 4 p.m. we've got the other half of them, and at 7 p.m. we've got the Upper Hutt mayoral debate, where we'll see whether their one votes, consider and see if the mayoral change hands. For those who normally tune in for the Order Paper podcast, we've taken a week hiatus due to the fact that Parliament has been sitting in a recess and there was no real valuable content that could be out there for this week. Hopefully next week we can have our friends Detective Rogers in there holding the reins at 9 o'clock when that time comes around. So I'd like to also thank the candidates for coming in today. It's great to actually have more candidates here than seats available. It's a bit different from yesterday. I also like to thank the audience for taking their time to bless us here, supporting our platform. Also like to thank Bridget for taking the role of question host. It's not easy to jump into it, but thank you for being part of the show. You're in a interesting situation of not having to go out for votes, but got to try and encourage people to vote. Yeah. And I'd also like to thank Nick, who's in studio here, who's been doing 2 jobs of manning both the broadcaster computer and the cameras. It's not easy to do 2 jobs at once, but I do enjoy having the passenger to talk to between the drives here and there. I also like to thank Stacey for being our remote editor tonight, doing a brilliant job, as long as we're making up all the graphics and getting everything ready to make the show work such a success. And also I'd like to thank Paul for doing our little halftime intermission for those watching at home. In fact, that was an absolute lifesaver. Thank you for sitting there pulling that off on the fly last night. And I'd like to say, everyone, have a good evening and see you all back at 1:30 p.m. tomorrow for Upper Hutt Councils at Large, Part 1.